This house is a bundle of contradictions, and so was she. A little bit about this house, and lovely Richard, who I've met, and your lovely wife I've not yet met. I don't know whether you know this, but she scandalised society around here way before she had the sandwich board saying votes for women, which really irritated people at Hampton Court, because she closed down all of the galleries in Hampton Court. People couldn't go and visit for fear that the suffragettes might go and slash a picture. So she was not loved. She may not have been loved by her neighbours. I know you've got a lovely neighbour now, but she also spent a third of her income one year on a Steinway grand piano, because this was a woman who could do everything. And you know, I walk past here quite often, and sometimes when the window's open, and it will be, Richard, when your windows are open as well, and your lovely wife, I sort of feel like I hear these strains of Ravel and Rachmaninoff, which she played with great aplomb, drifting down the street.
Only this week, at the Cannes Film Festival, The Lioness, a film on the princess, was launched. Once a forgotten princess, she has now become an icon to British Asians like me, who can take inspiration from her. And we can say, yes, you know, British Asians did play a part in Britain's early 20th century history. And if she could do that back then, in those most difficult of times, then certainly we can play our part in shaping Britain's future today.
So the first time I heard about Sophia and this project was in December. I got sent sort of a synopsis of the film and who she was and what she had done throughout her life, and I was immediately blown away. It was particularly empowering to me because I knew a lot about the suffragettes, but I never heard about Sophia before. And I think that's wrong. I think Sophia should be mentioned, you know, just as much as Emily Pankhurst and Sylvia Pankhurst and all of the women that we hear normally. And I remember finding a photo on Google, and it was of Sophia selling newspapers outside her house in Hampton Court, and it was suffragette newspapers. And it was amazing to me because there she was in this very expensive fur coat, and she was selling the newspapers, and it just blew my mind. Like, I just knew that if I could, I would want to play her and honour her story. And so the thing that I'm looking forward to most is just, you know, portraying her as best that I can. It's scary and it feels like a lot of responsibility because, you know, her life was so incredible and she did do so many great things, and her history and her timeline, her family are great, you know, and she means a lot to a lot of people. But at the same time, I'm so fulfilled and excited to have a part that is amazing as hers. And I'm excited for the world to learn about Sophia, for the world to learn, you know, about a South Asian princess who grew up in Britain, who was a suffragette, who was the granddaughter of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, but also the goddaughter of Queen Victoria. You know, her story is so contradictory but so amazing and so rich. So yeah.
Happen. It's a miracle that Viceroy's house got made on partition. It's a miracle that Bendigo Beckham got made. You know, it's absolutely a miracle. So my point today is that it's great that there's a sea change, but we still need a lot of people, young people in the room here, to push for those stories to be heard, because there are people who want to tell those stories. And there's people like Peter who've put their life's work into keeping the Duleep Singh family's stories alive, but it's small compared to what we can do, you know. And as I look around the room, I mean, there's so many historians. There's Shivani there, sitting there, who's had a great influence in telling our stories in books. There's so many people around who are doing that work now, and so it's a question of us as a community coming together and helping those stories receive, you know, finance, I think, and
It's absolutely wonderful to be here for the unveiling of the plaque for Sophia Duleep Singh. It's a story that hasn't been told, and it's brilliant that Peter Bands has done so much in terms of finding out not just Maharaja Duleep Singh's story, but of course the story of his children. Sophia was an inspirational suffragette, and of course she fought for the right for women to vote here in the United Kingdom 100 years ago. And Sophia's story was so powerful. She was my role model. It took 100 years for the United Kingdom to elect its first Sikh Member of Parliament. And thanks to Birmingham Edgbaston, we were able to do that. Now, I'm really inspired that in India, you know, the productions want to make this into a picture, a huge Bollywood film. And that is amazing, because this is a story that will inspire girls all around the world. To see little Sophia running down St. Stephen's Gate after the police officers, after they were beat down, just shows the amount of resilience that she had, but also her activism, her ability not to accept no and want to see fundamental change. And she has made change for women in the United Kingdom because we got the right to vote. So I'm so pleased to be here. This is a story that needs to be told again and again and again. I want to see it in our school education, not just here in the United Kingdom, but of course in India too.